Welcome to Route Service Type Configuration. The primary function of Route Service Type is to aid in linking pricing and routing during implementation or following a major data upload. Other than that, it is a purely informational exercise and plays no functional role in the system. Encore requires that pricing and routing be linked. This is how the driver knows what service is being provided on each stop. You can link pricing and routing manually by first creating pricing and then go to routing and create a route stop for each pricing item and link them together. But this can be a major problem with many records uploaded during an initial implementation or a data upload, and it becomes very impractical. This is where route service types can be very helpful. The process involves 6 steps. First, you define your route and service types. Second, you update route service type in route management. Third, you update route service types in transaction codes. Then you get Core involved, and Core will update pricing based on transaction codes, and then link pricing to routing based on matching route and service types in pricing and routing. And 6, you run reports to look for any issues that may need attention after the process runs. So let's get started with step 1 and define your route service types. To get to the configuration screen for this, go to Utilities and then Manage Utilities, or just press F12. Then stay on the Encore Options tab and scroll down and look for route service types down towards the end of the list. To begin with, leave none at the top of the list. These are for transaction codes that aren't routed. None. Then make your list of types in the remainder of the list. List each type of route you might have as it relates to the services provided on that route. For example, rear load residential. Don't make up types that don't actually exist in your route list. Only make up types for the routes you actually have. You can also add types for materials, but this will now have no impact on pricing and routing linking, which is our main purpose. If you want to reuse an item, for example, one that you see here that doesn't apply to you, you can simply overtype it. Or if you want to make it go away completely, one good way to do that is to just replace it with 3 dashes or 3 dots, change the sort order to 999, and then remove the active checkbox. That way it'll go to the bottom of the list because of the sort order. It'll be obvious that it's a removed item because it has 3 dots, and it won't show up on your main drop-down list because it's not active. There are 2 other columns you can see here. Show Customer Comment, which allows you to have a selection item on your customer comment screen, and this way you can segregate comments by different types of routes. There's also a column for eMobile. This will be covered later on in the eMobile configuration section. Then, once you've made all your changes, you're ready to click the Save button. The list will go blank, but you can easily get it back with all of your changes in the correct order by clicking on the Route Service Types entry again on the left. Great, so now we're ready to get started with the second step, updating your routes. Go to Operations, Recurring Routes, and then Route Management, or just press F8. Your job here will be to open up each route one at a time by clicking Find and then selecting the route that you want to work on. When it comes back to the screen, you can click Edit and see your route type list here at the top of the screen. Check or make sure that the route type is correct for each route. Click Save and continue the process until you've looked at all of your routes and made sure that the route type has been properly set up. That's all you have to do with route types. If at any time you realize your route list is inadequate or incomplete, you can simply go back to your utilities, go back down to your route types again, and make changes to the list. Then go back, save this, update, refresh settings, and go back into your routes and continue on making changes with your revised list. At this point, there's no problem in doing this. Now you're ready for the third step, and that is to update transaction codes. We did routes first because routes are driving the entire process. If your route types aren't right, the next phase of the process won't make any sense. So let's go back to Utilities and select the Transaction Code tab. Look for the Type column, and you can scroll to the right to see it more clearly next to your codes. Then begin going down your transaction codes and setting the correct type. Again, this is the type of service that is performed on the route that you've already set up. When you're done, click Save your changes. And again, close your windows and refresh your settings. Now you're ready to get Core involved. In step 4, Core is going to update all your customer pricing. What this means is on customer pricing, it'll make sure that the appropriate service code, service type that is, has been selected for each pricing entry. It'll do this based on the default transaction codes that you just set up. Then in the final step for Core, they'll go through and link all of your routes to the correct pricing entry based on the service type in routing and the service type in pricing. Where they match, the system can automatically link the two together and you have a complete package. The end result should be a correct linking between pricing and routing like this. But no process is complete. And that's why step 6 is necessary. You have to complete a cleanup operation. Go to Reporting, and then Open, and expand the Customer Setup Diagnostic branch, and down at the bottom you'll see Pricing and Routing Issues. Open this report, and you'll see a Parameters panel. At the top, you'll see all the different issues or classes of issues that you can have with pricing and routing linkage. Unless you have a particular one in mind, go ahead and select all of them, and we'll see what all of the issues are throughout the entire database. You can also select a billing status, which is generally a good idea since you don't care about inactive pricing and routing so much, and press OK. At this point, you'll wait for the report to load, which could take several minutes depending on the size of the report. And once the report loads, you'll see how many pages of issues need to be resolved. In this case, over 12,000 pages. Hopefully your list won't be that long. Then you can start fixing each issue one at a time by using the Windows menu, switching back and forth between the report and the customer. Going to pricing, going to routing, looking for and correcting the issues, and then returning back to the report. Once the issue has been resolved, you can refresh the report, rerun the same parameters, and that item will disappear from the report. Eventually, the report will become blank, and this is your goal. At that point, you will have successfully linked all pricing and routing in Encore. So let's review one more time the steps involved. First, you'll want to define your route and service types. This is based on the actual routes that you have. Second, update route service type in route management. Third, update route service types and transaction codes. And fourth, get Core to update pricing based on transaction codes. And 5, make sure they link pricing and routing based on matching route types between pricing and routing. And then 6, finally, run the pricing and routing issues report and fix all the issues until they're resolved. Well, that about wraps it up. Good luck and happy linking.